There are many ways that musicians can make charts. You can have sheet music, you can have tablature, you can have lead sheets. Over the years, I've probably made about 500 charts, and in that process, I've kind of learned what works and what doesn't work, and I'm going to show you the way that I make my charts personally. I personally like to include lyrics, chords, and structure notes in my charts. The thing that I really like to do is color coding. So you can see I have the lyrics just in black, and then I have the chords in blue. In my case, that's what I've chosen. And then any sort of structure notes I put in pink. Here is an example of a terrible chart that I got. They put bold for the structure, but you can see the chords and the lyrics are the exact same font. There's also no instructions of what you do in the intro. This is pretty much useless in that case. So another thing that I like to do, bold how each verse starts. I've said this before with Wagon Wheel. I don't know why I can never remember how each verse starts. So as long as I see headed down south, I remember the rest of it from there. And then verse 2, running from the cold, if I see that in bold, I'm like, okay, now I know how it goes from there. Because once I have that starting point, I usually remember how the rest of the verse goes. So the next thing is regard to timing. So the way I separate these are with commas and dashes. Commas will show where each bar or measure are separated at. And if there's a dash, that means that a chord change happens in the middle of a bar or a measure. If you see no markings for timing, that's where it can get a little bit confusing. So mark timing in some way. Just a couple other bonus tips. So this is a chart that I got from a group that I play with sometimes. This is with the Nashville number system, but you can see that I just have little notes here that are in a different color that say like, hey, this is the bass part. This is where you want to play the riff. Chords go here, and so on and so forth. Just little notes like that, and making them color-coded can definitely help you out a lot. Earlier this summer, I did a tour for a metal band that hired me to play with them, and I got to go play in Eastern Europe. When I was figuring out their songs, it wouldn't make sense to chart that out like I did with Amarillo by Morning. So for that, I just wrote out tabs, and I wrote out kind of the structure. I didn't use the iPad Live, obviously, for a tour like that. But just writing stuff out can help you learn the song. There are so many styles and genres and types of bands and stuff like that. The way that I make a chart when I'm playing with a metal band is different than when I'm playing with a country band. This isn't meant to be a you must make your charts like this, end all be all. I've just found what works best for me over the years, and hopefully this video has just given you some ideas so that you can improve your charts and make them more efficient for you.